All right, give me a minute here while I move things around. That target's 400 yards. Just above the big black Mickey Mouse looking one, there's a tiny little dongle. So let's see if we can hit that quick. Alright, so wow, looks like we finally took that one right off there. That's unfortunate, but good shot nonetheless. So, I was kind of picking on the Vanguard the other day. I wanted to make a quick video in the meantime. Talking about just some other rifles, some cheap stuff out there. So, that A-frame there with the big black target that the dongle was on, which will clearly now need to be fixed, is 100 yards. And the white one out there on the tree strip, way out there, you can see that is 400 yards. So it might not look like that, but it is verified by multiple rangefinders. So I just wanted to make a video, talk a little bit about kind of some fundamentals of rifle shooting. And I intentionally made it with the cheapest, ugliest, homeliest rifle I have ever seen in my life. So this is the super high-end, super fancy Thompson Center Compass. I bought this rifle brand new several years ago for about $280, if memory serves. The scope is a Nikon Pro Staff. I actually paid 50 bucks for that. It was kind of an interesting story. I found it in a box at the gun store. Apparently some guy got a new scope and just left that behind, didn't want it anymore. So he left it in the box. So when I seen it, I got all excited because in my opinion, Nikon makes the best budget optics ever, or they did make. I offered them 50 bucks for it. They accepted. I took it home and the thing has been stellar. So again, in my opinion, hands down the best budget optic ever made. I still have probably 5 or 6 of them. Again, Compass, about the cheapest production rifle ever made in my experience. I did put a cheek riser on this one. I had a higher scope on there initially before I found the Nikon. I did put a trigger spring in this, just an M-Carbo spring. Brought the trigger from horrible to pretty tolerable. And it has a threaded muzzle. I have a muzzle device on there right now so I can run a can on it, but I don't currently have one freed up to put on there. All in all, it's a shockingly accurate rifle. Again, especially for the price range. The bolt's just very sloppy. It binds up sometimes. But if you kind of know the approach, you push down on it a little bit as you're going, you can generally chamber rounds fairly easily. Has a 3-position safety. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the gun because that's not the point of the video. It probably has about the crappiest stock in the history of guns. Not only is it fairly flexible and not a super great platform, but it's also just extremely ugly, especially the front end there. I don't know if that's like a knockoff of a Weatherby thing. The one thing they did right is they free floated the barrel. I actually did take sandpaper to that and open it up a little bit more just to make sure it wasn't touching. Wouldn't be my first choice to shoot off a bipod, but off shooting sticks or a pack or the bags, it does great. So bullets today, actually was out shooting yesterday. I ran out of 129 grain interlocks, but they shoot just as well. These are just some hand loaded 143 grain ELDX. Again, I probably didn't state it. This gun is in 6.5 Creedmoor. I would caution you when you watch videos on guns, pretty much anything shoots well in 6.5 Creedmoor. So if you're looking at a gun, especially a higher end gun, and they're shooting it in 6.5, I would try and find some other videos. It's just very easy to shoot well. It's low recoil. It seems to be really tolerant of different loads. So great gun as far as shootability, which is kind of the point of this video. So I think we've kind of come to a point in America where people think they can buy good accuracy or good shooting, I should say. You can certainly buy good accuracy in terms of high-end scopes, high-end rifles, really high-quality ammunition. But the point I'm trying to make is, in this case, we have probably the cheapest production gun I've ever seen in my life, with one of the cheapest scopes. So again, I paid $50 for this scope, but if memory serves, when these things were brand new, they were like $130 or $140. I have no idea how old this one is. It's been on here a few years. Again, and then just hand loads. So I was shooting the 129 interlocks at the 400 the other day. They also did well. So you can buy accuracy in guns, but fundamentals are going to be the key. Fundamentals have always been the key, and I think that's largely been lost on the current generation, unfortunately. So again, about the cheapest gun made, one of the cheapest scopes. You know, I won't say average ammo because I hand load this. This is a very accurate load out of this rifle, but nothing stellar about it. I did the same exact thing, could make the same shots with the 129 interlock factory loads. So fundamentals again, it's great to have the best stuff out there, you know, really expensive rifles, really expensive optics. But the fact of the matter is, typically, you know, a good shooter can take any gun and make it a fairly good shooter. And there are some that just suck. I'm sorry, Mossberg fans, my God, 50% of them things just suck. They just don't shoot. And I'm not saying buy the cheapest rifle you can. You know, you typically get what you pay for. I'm simply saying that if a guy like me can come out here with about the cheapest thing on the planet and make a really good hit, that was about 2 inches left of the bullseye at 400. And that dongle, I believe, is 2 inches. Clearly got a solid hit on that because I broke the chain. I shoot that thing a lot, so I guess today was the day. I'm simply trying to say that you can't buy good shooting. Yes, you can buy quality equipment. You can't buy good fundamentals. And the only way to become a good shooter is to shoot. You have to get out. You have to practice a lot. You know, admittedly, I was a terrible rifle shooter into my mid-30s. I decided it was time to finally go on an elk hunt I'd been dreaming about my whole life, and I really started trying to apply some fundamentals and become a good rifle shooter. I grew up in shotgun zone. I had a terrible flinch. It still likes to show itself on occasion when I'm shooting like 7 rem mag, 300 Win mag, which is why I don't currently own either of them, though I've owned multiple 7 rem mags and a 300 Win mag. So moral of the story is, you have to shoot to be a good shooter. If you can get training, better yet. But there's a lot of stuff online, and it really just does come down to, again, some sort of adequate rest. In this case, pretty much all my rests are shot. I've been using them all summer. I'm down to this deflated Champion bag, this deflated X bag that I've got hot glue all over to keep the rest of the beads in. That rest is shot. That rest is shot. That one I just don't like because it seems like cheating. Get out there, get a good rest. You know, bipods are great. Understand that bipods can be hard to use in real life. After that, shoulder it up. One of the hardest things for me to learn was to relax the body, relax that shoulder. You don't want to be tense when you're shooting guns. It's much more likely that you're going to flinch and flinch significantly. So just relax that shoulder, relax the body, and then obviously you want to understand your drift, your drop. Ballistics is important out to 400, you know. In close, not so much. Just good basic fundamental understanding of what wind does to bullets, bullet drop at different ranges, how different ranges affect bullets, stuff like that. Sectional density, especially if you're hunting bigger game, ballistics coefficient to some extent, although I think people pay way too much attention to that. Again, I could make those shots just as easily with the 129 interlock. I just have to hold about 3 more inches for height and about 2 more for wind today, since we got about a 10-mile-an-hour crosswind. And then last but never least, a decent trigger. So if you have a gun that the trigger sucks on, I would highly encourage you to fix it if you can. If you don't know if your trigger sucks, it probably sucks. I had a beautiful old Browning out here the other day. It was a bolt action. It looked like it had a Weatherby bolt in it. I forget the model. I'd never seen one before. Maybe a BBR or something like that. Apparently they only made it 6 or 7 years. I looked it up after the guy shot it. Phenomenal gun. He had a Leupold VX3 on there, and quite possibly the worst trigger I have ever felt in my life. That was 300 Winchester Magnum, no break. I think I flinched at least 3 times before the gun actually went off. That's how long and heavy the trigger pull was. I managed to pull it together after that. I did some dry firing. I remembered that I have an inherent flinch with guns without brakes that are in Magnum calibers. And luckily I had some extra 300 Win Mag ammo, because what he brought was not phenomenal. So we got him sighted in, things went well. But again, just kind of an overall video. Get out there, shoot, you know, get some experience, shoot from field positions, get off of the flat bench, which is of course where we all like to shoot from. Yeah, you know, if you're a prone shooter, shoot sitting. If you're a bench shooter, shoot prone. And put some effort into it. Hunting is hard. You know, again, I live in Minnesota. I was at the gun store the other day and we were talking about farthest shots on deer. And there are guys there that have taken probably 100+ deer in their life that have never shot one past 200 yards. And of course, that's not the case everywhere. So again, just kind of wanted to make a quick shooting video. I know it's kind of hard on the Weatherby Vanguard. This is literally a $280 gun. Even if I'd paid full price for the scope, it would have less into this entire package than you would pay for a Vanguard. And this thing will shoot well under MOA. So no excuse for poor accuracy in modern production rifles, in my opinion. I have a lot of other opinions I might share at some point. Again, just kind of a fun video. I tried to do a shooting video now and then. I'm not set up to record at the target, but hopefully someday I will be. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. It literally costs you nothing, and it may help me someday. I hope everyone has a safe fall. Shoot straight. Good luck.